Thanks for watching this clip from Country Road TV's YouTube channel. For full episodes you can watch anywhere, anytime, on any device. Go to www.countryroadtv.com. Enter code COMMUNITY and get a free month. Now enjoy this video.
Bundy Long had been in the drag racing business, and Leland Colvin talked him into buying a NASCAR Winston Cup car. And so they bought a Plymouth from Petty Enterprises, and Bobby Isaac was going to be the driver. So Bobby and I were friends and grew up in the same area, and so we were racing at Richmond, Virginia, and that was back in the days when you just go there and practice and qualify and race the same day. And Bobby and I had left early that morning going to Richmond and driven up there, and he was expecting his race car to be there. Well, we got there, and the race car never got there. And so he went down the next day to find out what had happened, and what had happened, they were towing it with some kind of a tow rig that it was not on a trailer, and pulling it behind a carry-all type of a Chevrolet Suburban type of a vehicle. And John Henry Reynolds was driving the thing, and we're going up 301 out of Dillon, South Carolina, and the thing, they hit some water in the road. It had rained pretty heavy, and the water standing in the road, and the thing hydroplaned. He lost control, and he spun out down through the field. And so they called a wrecker. It was about 20 miles out of town. And the wrecker came out and pulled him out, charged him $25. And when they got it pulled out, it was headed back south. So Bondi told John Henry, said, "You can't drive this thing." He said, "Let me drive it." So they went back down the road there a mile or two where it gives space big enough to turn that thing around and head back north. Got back up there, and Bondi did exactly the same thing. He hit that same water, that thing hydroplaned, and he spun it down through the field again. Well, the wrecker hadn't even had time to get back to town, so they had to wait till it got back to town. Got him back up there, paid $25 more to pull it out, and the thing was still headed south when they got it out. And so they went down there where they'd found that place big enough to turn it around was a service station, or a country store, really. And by that time, it had gotten daylight, and the man who ran the store was standing out there in the doorway there, you know, saw this race car pull in there, and Bondi pulled it in, unhooked it over there on the side of the lot. And he came up there and said, "Mister," said, "do you own this store?" He said, "Yes, I do." He didn't ask him if he could leave that car there. He says, I'm going to leave that race car there. Said, "If you can sell that thing," he said, "you sell it." And said, "If you can't sell it," he said, "you give it to somebody. I'm heading to the beach."
I was going to Salem, Indiana. I had a Winter National truck that I towed my Cup car with, and David Iff was working for me. So David wanted to take his wife and kids to the race. And I said, "David, a truck, you know, that old truck's uncomfortable anyway, just seat about that long on Winter National." I said, "But if you want to, wife and 3 kids, if you want to throw them all up in there and drive to Salem, Indiana, we'll have at it." So he does. Him and his wife Gretchen and the boys are all in there, and they got blankets all in the floor and everything. And an old truck like that, you know, you got a handbrake that you used to pull, and it had a kind of a bell in there that it would lock down against. And so we're going down the road, and I noticed my truck started smoking. And so I run up beside of David, and I signaled to him. I said, "Pull over." I said, "There's something wrong with the truck." So he pulled off the side of the road, and he gets out, and we get up on the hood, and David said, "I don't know, it smells like rags burning." And about that time, Gretchen and the kids just slammed open the door and jumped out of the truck, and they had that blanket down in the floorboard, and that handbrake, one of the kids had pulled it back just enough. It was rubbing, and it caught the blanket on fire. And the kids were laying on the blanket, and the blanket caught on fire, and there they were, just had to jump out of the truck, keep them burning up.
Always something.
Eli, I got one more story on Bondi on towing, then I'll shut up.
No.
That same year, in April, they were going to Martinsville to the race, and Bondi was the team manager. Now, Bondi's still a good friend, and I hope he don't mind me telling the story, but he would go by the accountant's office and pick up expense money. So he went by on Thursday or Friday, whenever, and picked up his expense check for $150, went by and got it cashed, and he was towing the race car to Martinsville. And he went through some little town, pulled up to a stoplight, and there was a pawn shop over there on the corner, and he looked over there, and there was a beautiful guitar in the window of the pawn shop. And Bondi liked guitars. He could play them. And so he pulled over and went in there, and he said, "How much is that guitar?" And the man said, $150. Well, he had $150 because he got that check cashed, you know. And so he bought that guitar, got on to Martinsville, practiced and qualified that afternoon, and took the crew out to dinner that night. And when it came time to pay the bill, Bobby Isaac said, "Long, you got the money, right?" "Oh, yeah, I got it." And he reached in his pocket to pay the bill, and that's the next time he remembered that he had spent that $150, didn't have any money to pay him, and none of them had any money. And Isaac said, and he told the story of why he didn't have the money. And Bobby looked at him. He was real dry-witted, as David knows. And he said, bought a guitar. Said, did you ever hear tell of Ernest Tubb taking a race car to the Grand Ole Opry? He said, what are you doing bringing a guitar to the racetrack?
Thanks for watching this free clip from Country Road TV. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and click on the bell so you'll be notified when new free videos have been posted. Also, be sure to click the like button. To see full episodes, head on over to www.countryroadtv.com.